Thanks, Megan and Natalie, for having me here. I love DTEI trainings, and I think I go to office hours all the time. I'm my 911 helpline, and I learned so much from Natalie about video editing. As my quote showed, I was new to video editing during COVID, and there was a lot of challenges during COVID. I remember when I took the Digital Learning Institute training and we had presentations at the end, I showed this slide to show the context of what students and faculty are going through and their families and communities. Everything from not just COVID, but wildfires. I had students who had to evacuate. We had contentious presidential elections, not one, but two impeachment trials. Violent riots in the Capitol, racial strife and protests. Students are facing economic instability, domestic violence is on the rise. They're having physical and mental health issues. So I appreciate you being here. And I know you're dedicated teachers if you're here in the summer and in the afternoon to talk about ways to improve your classes. And I know that everyone feels like they have so much on their plate, but I hope that video editing doesn't put more on your plate, but helps you do things differently, more creatively, and maybe even make your workload easier. That's what I'd hope. And I know Nat mentioned that I'm going to show different examples of videos. So one of the slides that Natalie created shows some different types of videos. Let me go to that. Okay, so I'm going to show some different types of videos that I've done. I know Natalie was so nice in her introduction, but I am not an expert. I feel like I, like you, am just learning so much about video editing, but I actually enjoy it. And I've done different types. Live lecture, where I have just recorded my lecture for class live, and then I've posted up for students who were not able to attend. And I just do some light editing, like trimming the beginning or end, or if we had a break, I would do some minimal editing for that. I've also done live discussion sessions. So I'm not lecturing because I have pre-recorded lecture videos that students have watched. This would just be interaction with students, going over their questions about assignments, trying to get them interested about the material, throwing out some interesting question where they might have different opinions about some of the material we've gone over. I've done pre-recorded lecture videos too, and that's kind of more intensive but editing, but it actually helped me because I was dreading taping my videos. And once I was learning editing, I was able to I can always just fix that later. I can replace that slide later, or I can re-record and just replace that segment. And so it actually alleviated stress for me rather than it's getting all wrapped up in perfectionism. Also, we've done some fun videos where we just have guest speaker presentations, student presentations, featuring some creative projects from our classes. And so those are really fun to have. And during this pandemic time, it's been really fun to watch, even in class, to show them. And the helpful hints video is probably something that maybe Natalie and Megan have shown with you before, so we can go over a little bit about how you could record some tutorial videos. I found myself in some of my classes, I teach some things over and over again. So it was great to record just a little tutorial where I could post that up in a YouTube video, or at least post it again and again in my classes and have that available for many different classes. Okay, so let me end this. Let me see if I can. There, good. And let's show some sample videos. So I'll go to my courses. And the first one I wanted to show was a live lecture. And I have a statistics class. And I post up all my lectures in UJA. I record it in Zoom, edit in iMovie, although I'm learning Premiere Rush too. And then I post up in UJA. And I'm going to show an example. I'm sorry, it takes a little bit to load. especially since I'm on Zoom too. So I'm going to show a live video, and then I'll also show a pre-recorded video so you could sort of see the difference. And I'll also show a discussion section video. Okay, here, phew. So this one is.
Hi, everyone. Let's get started. Hi, Emmanuel. Hi, Eddie.
Hello.
This week, we will continue talking about Chapter 10. We'll do a little bit of review of Chapter 9, and then we'll move on to Chapters 11 and 12. I want to say congratulations to everyone for finishing the midterm. Yay. Take a deep breath. You got through it.
I'll be speeding through some of this, and just to let you know, those Emmanuel and Eddie are the LA's learning assistants.
You can see your, so this week we'll go over.
I usually have some resources that I share with the students.
I also wanted to provide some information about the Dream Center, and Emmanuel provided the link to that. Even though the Dream Center is not open, which is really sad because it's a really nice place for students to meet and study. So once campus is opened up again, please visit the Dream Center. But for now, you can make an appointment with either the director, assistant.
Okay, then I'll show.
So this announcement is regarding Monday of week 8. So during our lecture, we'll be having a small activity, little contest for you guys to lessen the stress of the midterms. We'll be providing a contest of a Zoom virtual background or profile picture. And you can choose your favorite movie, TV show, or Netflix series. And you don't have to have your camera on, but we'll be voting as a class, and whoever.
And outliers, so there are no outliers.
Okay, and then I usually go over most commonly missed questions on the homework. So this is an example of a video that is live. So then I'll also show what a pre-recorded video looks like. So I'm going to look at week 8. This is for another class in the Urban Planning and Public Policy Department. And this is a pre-recorded video on transportation policy.
Hi students, this is Professor Wong.
Today's lecture is on transportation policy. Let's think about different modes or types of transportation and future. Some modes of transportation. Create a list of at least 5 or more options: past, present, and future. Humans just walked as a mode of transportation. Maybe I should have even added swim. 150 to 250 miles per hour. Nowadays, there are electric cars. Right-hand side, the bus station with the white roof.
Okay, so this example of pre-recorded video. And then in the same class, which is urban planning class, I'll show a discussion session. And during COVID, we started out with the learning assistants doing an icebreaker usually, especially since students couldn't socialize in class. So it gave them an opportunity to socialize in their class. So this one, I'll show week 5. Also, when I post my videos, I go with the most recent one. So week 10 will be at the top, and I'll go down the bottom that way. So I'll do week 5.
All right, hey guys, I hope everyone's doing well. So for today's icebreaker, imagine there's a zombie apocalypse coming. What we want to know is who are the 3 people you would want on your team, and they can be fictional or they can be real.
So Yvonne and Sergio, tell me who you picked and who did Brianna pick?
I can go. Chose Rick because I was just like, well, maybe he can take us to like another universe, another dimension, and then I chose Storm.
So this is our icebreaker, and then this is a live discussion. And so again, I would announce some
on
resources.
campus. Wanted to let you know about the Disability Service Center. If you are feeling stressed, this is midterms time. If you may realize maybe I have test anxiety and you want to look into how would I find out if I have test anxiety and may qualify for some accommodations. You can.
And then we would get into things like, I would always announce when the next assignments were due. And then we would go over the quiz answers. And then students had something like a discussion question for the week. We'd go over like the policy paper, and they'd have a discussion question for the week, and we would talk about that in breakout groups. So that's what the live discussion would.
Assess why one policy may be better.
Students
over
could ask
another.
questions about their paper also. Okay, so we went over live lecture, pre-recorded live discussion. I can also show, sometimes we just have some videos about our course. Like we had poster presentations when it was non-COVID time. So this assignment I transformed to be for students to create websites instead. We've also done in-class activities, and it was really nice to have videos of that. So during COVID time, students could just watch videos.
What if we take each thing?
These are the teams of TAs. There are 2 teams of TAs, and students would watch and take notes for observation about which team was more successful than the other. And so we had team 1 of a group of TAs and then team 2. So I can forward a little bit to, and they did this marshmallow challenge trying to create the tallest structure. And I would.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll measure it.
Good job, team.
I would say 16 inches, wouldn't you say? 16? Yeah. 16? Great job. Thank you, team 1. Will you help me clean up? Team 1. Come team one. Come on up, team one. Yeah, the second team, their structure fell down, which is kind of sad. And the last thing I'll show is I created my first YouTube channel on Dr. Wong's Helpful Hints. And I start out with like Zoom basics, how to use Google Scholar, how to use Zotero, what is OWL Purdue for citations, how to download census data, how to create a table of contents in Microsoft Word and Google Docs, how to create a Google site, and how to do transcriptions. Some of these things are helpful for any student. Some of these things were related to a particular assignment in one of my classes, but I thought I'll just post it up here. And so that way, yeah, I can use this type of material over and over again. And so these look like this. I won't show the whole thing.
Hi students, this is Professor Wong. Today's Helpful Hints is on automating table of contents. I will teach you how to create an automatic table of contents in Microsoft Word and Google Docs. I will also show you how to create a table of figures. You would insert a caption and also be able to cross-reference this table of figures in your text. In Microsoft Word, here's where you would select Table of Contents.
Okay. So I'll stop there, and I just want to get some reactions or thoughts from everyone. Is there some things in your class where you felt that you say to students over and over again, so you thought it would be useful to maybe record it as a short segment and be able to have that video?
So I agree, in my work, we are counseling the same thing, over and over again, what's recessive, what's dominant. So this would be really helpful where you can just play it and send them the link.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you could just think about some video editing is very simple of like, I'm just going to trim the beginning and end and like the breaks. You could just do that for some of your videos. But then you can really get into having like, I have a lot of embedded YouTube videos within my videos to show, and students really like that. They enjoy watching those. And also students, you notice when we have discussion section, if some student couldn't make it, especially if they're in another time zone, they're still watching the icebreaker, about zombie apocalypse and still getting a good laugh. So other thoughts? The idea of having maybe guest speakers that you've had to come and you have videos of that. I'll share my screen again. I had some guest speakers and I've recorded those.
Tell us about your professional report.
So the research question was, how does public sexual harassment in the Pico Union and Westlake communities impact the use and perception of public spaces?
What methods did you use for the professional report?
Some of the methods that I used for my PR were quantitative surveys of community members, usually with in the new service area of Pico Union and Westlake, a series of 3 field observations, one for Pico Union, Westlake South, and Westlake North, and data analysis. So that was demographic and...
All right, we have a question in the chat, actually. Catherine asks, are you able to include PowerPoint slides while you are recording, or does that need to be added through editing?
I use Zoom and share my screen, and I usually set in Zoom that I do not want to show my face, but I do pre-record greetings. So I say, hi students, this is Professor Wong. And so like, I only have to really like brush my hair once and have those greetings ready. And I actually was trying to get creative, and I would choose different virtual backgrounds, and I try to match my outfit to the virtual background. So like, if I had the San Francisco background, I'd be wearing a like Oakland Warriors, which is the basketball team, t-shirt. If I had a UCLA background, I'd wear a UCLA sweatshirt. If I have the UCI graduation cap and gown with the UCI logo in the back. One time they have these logos, the backgrounds with like snow scenes. So I'd wear a puffer jacket and a ski hat and those types of things. And usually always end with the graduation shot too. So I'd show my face at the beginning, but otherwise I would just show just the PowerPoint, share the PowerPoint in Zoom. Somebody asked about the virtual backgrounds. You go into where it says, where you show your video, and it has a little arrow, a caret, and you click on that and you can choose select virtual backgrounds. And then you can download a lot of virtual backgrounds and you can upload your own pictures too. I thought about being really creative, and I'm thinking about using some of my pictures that where I've traveled to different places and have that in the background, and maybe have a contest to see how many locations students can guess which cities.
All right, was there anything else you wanted to say, Karna, before we move on?
No, I just wanted to give some samples, and I even have more, so maybe in the breakout we can talk more about it. Thank you.